Hello, this is Jay Guardia from militarysignatures.com, and I want to show you a few things about how the signature builder works. Okay, essentially each carousel that you see on a page represents a different design. Below each design description there's a yellow indicator of what items are included from what tabs below. For example, this says tabs 1 through 3 and 5 below, and what that's referring to are these tabs right here. This being the first tab, second, third, etc., etc., etc. So you can look ahead of time and see that this layout right here covers tabs 1 through 7 below, which are essentially all of them. But if you don't even really have to worry about that. At this point, all you need to do is populate your selections below by simply clicking on the item until it's highlighted. I've pre-selected some items here for time's sake. When you get to the awards section here, below each award that's eligible for an attachment, there's a little link that says select attachments, and all you have to do is expand that, and if you need to add a second device, hit for Windows, you hit Control, so you have, say, 2 devices, and at this point you can attach them by setting the attachments on there, and then you see they all appear. Now be sure that the ribbon is selected. Just because you select attachments for the ribbon doesn't mean the ribbon itself is selected. Go through each tab and select all the items that you need, and then at the end you can either just scoot all the way down and generate the signature, and the items that will be placed on a particular design will happen automatically, and you can on the fly test out each design, see how it lays out for you to first of all get an idea of which design you'd like to go with. Also, another feature available is, and I see a Coast Guard image in the background of an Army signature, and this is a test account, and I play with this account quite a bit to make sure things work, and we'll go over the photo uploader as well. But another feature I want to point out is you can size the signature down and just regenerate it at that point, and now it's permanently stored at this size. It's a nice feature. Get it back to 100%. This Combat Series signature here is exclusive to the items in this tab here for the Combat Series. Every item in this selection here will appear on this signature here. This is a unique signature from the rest. The Combat Series design is currently available for the Army and the Marine Corps. Okay, I want to explain how to use the multi-service signature here. It just came out here last week, as a matter of fact. Before that, I'm going to go over the photo uploader. I've thrown an image on the desktop here, and in order to get that into the signature, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to browse to the desktop, and I'm going to highlight that image, click open, and then I'm going to upload that to the server. Once that image is up there, I can then play with how I want that image to appear in the signature itself. The different yellow highlights representing different signatures. Alright, so I'm going to be working on the multi-service signature, so I'm looking at the yellow border here and lining up my photo how I'd like it to look. Now once I have it where I'd like it, I'm going to store that image. I'm going to save it Once that image appears here, it's now ready to be imposed for the background of this signature or this signature indicated by the yellow info here. So now I've selected the multi-service template. I've uploaded my photo. I've selected all of my items below. I built my own little database. And this is the first step to the multi-service signature. Now let's say, the idea of this design is the service that you spent the most time in will be your primary service because it will hold more items at the bottom versus the top, and the reason for that is for the balance of the signature. So now let's say this guy did most of his time in the Army, but he started out in the Navy or what have you. Now he wants to go to the Navy page. So the primary is set. Now he needs to build his Navy items. When you're building your secondary part, you want to check here that this is now your secondary service. We're on the Navy page. We've selected this is the secondary service. Okay. So here, the items that you need to worry about are the first 4 tabs. Okay. You also need to make sure that a multi-service template is selected on this page. However, it is overwritten. You won't see, it does not change your primary selection as far as template. However, one does need to be selected because if it wasn't, it's gonna think you're trying to build one of these. But you're telling it you're going to build a second part of your multi-service signature. Now you're going to select any items that you may have earned in your short time in the Navy for this example, and at that point build the top half of your signature. Oh, one more thing. When you're in secondary mode, for the rank and text, you need to put your text in the secondary portion. The reason for that is for example, for green to gold people. In other words, let's say I'm going to at this point regenerate the primary, which will overwrite the secondary. It'll make sense once you see it. We're back to the base. Okay, for the green to gold people, let's say you spent most of your time in the Army as an enlisted and you're proud of that, of course. Now we're going to use the same service, the Army page, as a secondary page, as a secondary service. We're going to check here because we're using the same one. We don't want the ribbons and badges repopulated again on the top, so we're going to select do not display secondary badges or ribbons. We'll have to change the rank now because green to gold, let's say, made it up to first lieutenant before you retired or what have you. Then, for example purposes, I put in secondary text in the secondary spot. That's why the secondary text appears on the secondary service, so that green to gold people will be able to have text on the top, both the top and bottom, and switch the illustrate both their enlisted and officer rank. And now I'm going to generate the signature, and there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this overview.